I used to date a girl who had a parrot. That thing would never shut up. The parrot was cool though. Welcome back. If you recall, in last video, we fixed a carburetor for another guy who had a 550 and he was having trouble with it. And as such, I took the carburetor off of my 550 here so that I could put his on and test it. And mine also needs some attention, if you recall. It is just very much gummed up and we need to deal with that. So that's what we're gonna do. I actually am looking around right now. Oh, there it is. I had my parts carburetor light up there because there's that Venturi out of his. So we're gonna get this other one off of this tractor pulled apart and see what we can do to it. It may just need cleaning. I probably have enough miscellaneous gaskets and stuff from over the years that I probably don't need to buy a carburetor kit, but we'll pull it apart real quick and see how it looks. There we go. We'll do more on our bucket workbench. The inappropriate way to do things, but hey, this is a new gasket. We don't want to lose that. As you recall in the last video, it blew away once, so we don't want that. But we're going to take this off and lay it something heavy on it. There we go. Then let's take the idle mixture screw out here. It's got a little schmutz on it, looks like. I've also had, I know that the new kits come with some of these, but I've had some where the new needle does not work as good as the old one, so I've put old ones back in before. I don't know why that is. I guess they don't grind them just perfectly precise to how your seat is wore maybe, but anyway, we'll lay that to the side. If you're a person who is afraid of losing pieces and stuff, then perhaps you want to put this stuff in plastic baggies and whatnot. I've done enough of these that I think I could probably do it in my sleep, so I know where all the pieces go. The only thing that really makes me nervous to lose would be some of those jets that are in there, because they will probably be hard to find back again, and they are actually mated to the number carburetor that you have. So we will see here. Very interesting shots of the backside of my hand. You're getting used to that. Try not to enjoy it too much. That's creepy. Alright, and now we see our carburetor with correct size float. And how does it look in here? Kind of gummy, trashy, yucky. Not really too rusty, but icky, I guess is the word. So we'll get rid of this. And there is some, boy, that looks like sediment, but that might actually be part of the carburetor casting. Not very nice. We'll get to this in a minute. Let's take our float off because I want to see if it doesn't appear to be leaking. I don't hear, when they go bad, you can hear that there's liquid in them and it feels heavy. I don't think this one is, so we'll set it to the side. It's kind of sticky on it. Alright, and here's I guess while we're at it, in that last video I was commenting on that brass pin. This is the way the pins usually look for the float, so hopefully his does not stick. Here's a, I don't remember being in this carburetor. It looks like it has a new needle valve and seat, but boy, does this look hammered on here. This looks good. As long as this seat's good, it's probably reusable. I'll see if I have one of these gaskets, which I probably do. It's actually getting kind of cold out here to me. When the sun is going down. I will probably get a jacket here in a minute when my camera battery dies. And that might be sooner than later, because I'll probably also have to get a little screwdriver to pull that out of there, because I am not able to get that. And this is not wanting to come loose, so I'll probably just leave it. It's flowing fine through it. So we'll get that pulled out though, just to make sure, clean some of this other gunk off of here. So this is going to end up to be a low budget carburetor rebuild, as in using all the stuff you've got. Let's take this gummy mess loose. What do we have here? 9/16. Sure. Oh, that's kind of loose. This piece here is like 50 bucks. So do not lose or damage it if possible. Some of the tractors used a 90-degree needle valve style. Some were like that last tractor and used like a flat round thumb screw thing. This is kind of gummy and nasty and needs cleaned. Nasty, sure. Will this fit down in there? It does, and it came loose. Sometimes these do not come loose. And then you cry and throw things and get the torch out and tell yourself that you're only gonna heat it for just a second, but then you hold it too long and the brass melts out like a liquid. So we've all been there. I think this thing's only problem is it's just dirty more than anything. Look at all those little holes plugged. You maybe can or can't see that, but that's definitely part of our trouble. Let's see if the plug comes out of this one as good as it did in that other one, which was not good at all. Let's see, what did I just have? 7/16. This is a half. So if you do this correctly, when you get frustrated and you start beating on it, you'll round this off. That's what you want. There we go. And then, if you've lived a good clean life, it will finally come loose after minimal damage. This one is not as packed with rust in there as was the last guy's. So that's pretty well disassembled. Just nasty and rusty. So we'll clean on this a little bit, and we will hunt up some new gaskets, and then I think we can just try to put it back together and go again. Well, you remember in the other video when I said that I really hated to give away that Venturi because I might need it someday? Here's the one out of this tractor, and look what's happened to it. The same type of thing. The only difference is mine here is not all the way through, whereas that one on the other one was pretty well, I mean, there was a noticeable crack all the way through it. So I think this one will live to play again, but it's just the idea of the fact that I had a good one and I gave it to somebody else. So he paid for it, but still, I could have put it in my own stuff, but I didn't. Should have took this carburetor apart first, I guess. It'll work though. Got to get an O-ring on this. That was pretty well toast. And this I think will go again. The washer on here's got a crack in it, so I need to find that. And I probably have all this stuff from kits. The kits usually come with stuff and you don't use it all on every carburetor, so I probably in my box have a collection of all of the stuff I need if I just take a minute and look for it. So that's what we'll do here in a second. I've got this almost ready to put together. So we'll give it a try here in a little bit. See if we can find what we need. Okay, believe it or not, I found all the stuff I needed. Gaskets, found an O-ring for that needle. We're gonna try to pull this jet out real quick though. I need to get the right end in my screwdriver. Just a minute. All right, here we go. We're losing daylight fast, so we're gonna have to kick this operation into high gear. See, this is a piece you don't want to lose and do like what I just did and drop it haphazardly. It is clear and clean. We will blow out the passageway quickly, and everything is clear. So we'll put this back in, and then we will start reassembly. This is proof that you don't have to replace every piece, is what I'm getting at. You can reuse some of your stuff if you are just trying to get going. The biggest things I found are gaskets. Those are the things that you go through the quickest. So we will put this in here. I'm really distressed that I gave away my nice one, but I will get over it. Life goes on. I can find another one somewhere. We'll put this in here. I do not have the clip. I'd say somebody already had the same issue that I usually have, which they run over. So I usually have more trouble with them running over than I do with it sticking closed. And again, probably hard to tell on the camera because I'm not holding at a perfect angle, but this float is adjusted what I would consider correctly. It lays pretty well parallel with the housing. The gasket's kind of causing you an optical illusion there probably, but that's what we want. Now for this end, we'll put that pipe plug in. The holes are clear. And let's see, what did this take? This one took a 1/2 inch. That other tractor carburetor took a 7/16 to get that loose. And we got that clear. Got to put this in, and it will go down in there. There are different styles on these carburetors. This happens to be the one where it goes through here and screws down into another set of threads down in there, and then it actually comes out here up top. So a lot of them on the Olivers, you take it out from the top. It has a hex head here, and you get it out with a, I think a 7/16, might be a 3/8, I don't remember. But anyway, this style actually here I don't like as well as the other style, because sometimes you can't hardly get this out of here. It gets rusted around in here, and then you can't get down in there very good to get a grip on it, and you end up rounding it off, and then you're to the point where you're going to be drilling stuff out, or it's just not the best to deal with if it goes wrong. If everything's working, it's not a big deal. There we go. And let's see, let's set this at our 1, 2, let's go 2.5. Like I said, I usually go 1.5 and 2.5 as starters. I think I got everything in I need, so we will put these two halves together, and we want to make sure that which you can't see on the camera while I do it, but that venturi goes into that recess. Don't just wedge it and force it, or you will have bad problems like what we have seen. If I had more time, I might have put a kit in this, but this is a loader tractor. We got to have it. We don't. Loader tractors they don't have the luxury of sitting. They have to be fixed. And I haven't had this tractor all that long, but I would just as soon use it as anything else. It is just a handy sized little tractor with a loader on it. So the only things that would make it better is if it were front wheel assist and if it had two-way boom cylinders, but I could fix that part, but not the front wheel assist. And let's tighten these evenly. And then, see, that's not doing what I want it to. Why is that like that? I made a boo-boo. I used the rusty screws out of the parts carburetor. No wonder I'm having such a horrible time getting them to go. That's why. We want to use our good clean screws. This is what happens when you get in a rush. I really wanted to have it put back on before dark. We'll see if we make it. Alright, as you may recall in the last video, we found this new gasket here and used it. So that's what we're going to mount on here with this. Now we'll see if we can get you in on the action here. First thing we're going to do is put my arm in front so you can't see. No, first thing we're going to do is put our choke cable in. I lost the screw, but I found one that'll work, so we're going to hope that it works anyway. And we need to do this in such a way that we don't have a loader on the tractor. That would be really handy, but that's not going to happen. So we're going to try to do this. There we go. Get it started through there. I guess I didn't even bend the end when I took it apart, and that was a boo-boo. There we go. Okay, now you make sure your choke's pushed all the way in, and then I like to tighten this here like this in such a way, and then once that is done, I like to take a pliers and bend a little of the wire over the end here in a second, so that it's not just a straight pull out. It's got something to grab a hold of. That seems like that works slightly better if you put a little hook on it. You can always bend that back out if you have to take it apart. This choke cable is not very good. I really need to get a better one. And actually, I will be getting a better one because I just broke it. So, well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to table the old choke cable situation because I broke the handle off of it, and it's not very good anyway. So I will order one from Agco, and that'll take care of that. But it does mean I'll have to pull this off again, but that's fine. We're just having a terrible time. So okay, somebody called and is coming now for straw, so that's probably going to put the coffin nail in this repair for the evening. I really wanted to get this darn thing together, but oh, that's not what I want. But we know it's going to be coming off again, so we'll go with it. Let's put this in here and knock you over. Sure. We'll get that started. And find our other side. And I forgot, I'm going to get some thread tape for that fitting, because if you remember on the other tractor, it was leaking when we borrowed it. So at least if we get stopped for tonight, now most everything is put back together. And that's what I was after. I don't like leaving stuff sit open if possible. And I don't like stuffing rags up in an intake, because sometimes you will forget, and then I've never had that happen, but I've heard of it happening, and it certainly seems possible. Seems like a headache that we really don't need, so there's that. There's this. Let's put this clamp on, which is probably a mistake, because who knows, we'll probably have to take it off, but well, we know we'll be taking it off again to put a choke cable on it, so winter's too close. We're gonna have to have a choke cable. It's just the way it is. Okay, it's Amnaxtis Tag, the next day, and it's daylight again, so we can hopefully see what we're doing. I have everything put in, including this needle, which was not in there last night when I was hurrying up to get it put together. So that's in and adjusted. I need to put some tape on this fitting. I don't know, probably wouldn't have to. It's brass. You could probably wedge it in there if you were so inclined to, but I like to put a little thread tape on them. So we'll put this in there. Also, the trick is to not tighten it too tight that you bust your carburetor housing, because I have seen that happen, especially on this style where the fitting goes in the back of the carburetor, like on the 550. I have worked on one before where we had to get kind of creative because that had happened. You want to just tighten it in there. You don't want to deform any metal or do anything crazy. Once you hear the pop, it's too late. So we're gonna just turn this in. And I've heard people say, oh, you have to use special thread tape, blah, blah, blah. No, I've used this for years and it's just fine. The goal is you don't want to get it in there with the fuel, you know. You don't want to wrap the tape in such a way that it's not on the threads. So as long as you use your head, I think you will be fine. We'll put this in here. We're almost ready to start it. Hopefully this carburetor will work as good as the one we did for the customer, because he got the best parts, as we remember from yesterday when we also discovered that our Venturi was not in the greatest of shape. But I can understand that, because this poor little tractor here, whoever worked on it in its past life was not the swiftest of mechanics, I do not think, because I saw some stuff that was just terribly out of whack when I got it. Let's turn the gas on and see what takes place. I have no idea what will take place. I'm hoping what takes place is that it works correctly. It certainly can't be worse than it was before, because it was getting pretty bad. Poor little thing wouldn't hardly run. If our gas was just better quality, because I can see in the sediment bowl, it just, you can tell that it attracts water, and that's not good. Okay, we're still in neutral. We're going to turn the key on, if I can reach it. There we go. And we're going to commit a crime here and start it by hand. Ooh, it doesn't like running without the choke. There we go. Well, attempt number one is not quite right, because it did not like that without the choke. face. Okay. Tweak it some more. Let's give it a little more load needle action. You silly goose. Come on. We have something we can live with. No choke on, and it idles good, and you can rev it up. I think that Venturi is right on the borderline. I don't know if it really would affect it or not, but this one was harder to get adjusted right than the other one, so maybe there's something to that. Well, we'll turn the gas off here again. Something I do just to everything, just to be sure it still has gas in it when I come back. I think we're going to go ahead and call this a video. We got a running tractor again, and that's handy because I was having to really have the choke all the way out to keep it running. So that's good, and it didn't really cost us anything because I had the parts on hand. So that's handy when that happens. As usual, if you'd like, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and leave a comment. That helps the channel out. I always enjoy hearing what people have to say. We have some good times together back and forth. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.